My name is Chris Hernandez. I'm going to be talking about school starting times. To be more specific, I'll be talking about how I believe early school starting times negatively affect students in America. Now I'm going to start off by talking about sleep. I'm going to explain something you might not have known. Then I'm going to talk about how school conflicts with this, and then I'll finish up with the problems that brings. Now sleep is supposed to be the way we recharge ourselves after a day of work. But what you may not know is what we have something called a circadian rhythm, which you might know better as like an internal clock. And basically what that is, it's when your body tells you it's tired, so you go to sleep, and then you'll recharge yourself. And the rhythm ends when you wake up feeling well rested. It's when you naturally go to sleep and naturally wake up. But the problem with that is school doesn't really let you follow that. You see, pre-puberty, the rhythm begins around 10 p.m. It lasts for about 8 hours, so that means you can sleep for 8 hours, wake up at 6, and you can start school at 7 and be fine. But school usually starts about at 7:30, and when you hit puberty, that rhythm kind of shifts. So it shifts later in the day, and the rhythm grows longer. So what it is maybe the same kids who could go to bed at 10, all of a sudden it's 11, they don't feel tired, but they hit 12 and they finally start to feel it. And now that the rhythm is longer, instead of needing about 8 hours of sleep, you need about 10. And that really messes with school, because if school starts at 7 or 7:30, and they go to bed at 12, they only get about 7 out of the 10 hours, which means that's in one night, 3 hours of sleep they're missing. So in a school week, that's 15 hours. And this goes on for weeks and weeks and weeks, and this can lead to sleep deprivation, which is like a seriously bad thing for teens, right? Because what sleep deprivation can lead to is stuff like higher anxiety levels, higher stress, increased depression rates. It's just something that's really, really bad for teens to really deal with. On top of that, it has more visibly negative impacts. Early obesity is a risk, and it even weakens your immune system, so it's harder to fight off colds and things like that. And I know I've been talking about why this affects high school students, but it also really does affect us. You see, because it's not just about being in high school, it's about being a teenager. And it's really important to follow that rhythm, because it tells you pretty much what's the healthy amount of sleep to get. But for us, we get the option to choose our classes, to choose when it starts, which means that if we listen to our bodies, we can pretty much choose the classes that best benefit us, to follow our rhythm, to get the healthy amount of sleep, and hopefully that can help us work with our stress, decrease anxiety. And that's about all I have.
Right. Well, Chris, the proposition ends up being pretty clear at the beginning of the speech that it's harming, early school starts harm students. That's fine. I understood that. The secondary claims, when you preview them, they're not really in the form of declarative sentences. They're kind of just like topic areas that you're going to be talking about. So I don't know exactly what inference you're going to be making on those points. And you want to lead us a little bit more in that direction and give us a clearer sense of how that's going to support your position at the beginning. You signposted the first point when you got to it, but after that I didn't really hear much development of the structure and reference to some of the things that you were talking about. I did get a little bit of the problems that you mentioned at the end when you start listing all the random things that could happen as a consequence of immune system issues and obesity. One of the problems, though, is because there's a lack of proof on any of these points, it doesn't really feel like that's a distinctive point. It just feels like it's a continuation of something that you said earlier. This is the this is where I think the biggest problem in the speech is. I'm sure that you did research on this. I have no doubt that you've got information that you're using to make your inferences from, but none of that has made it into the speech. I didn't hear a single source citation in the presentation. You talk about these circadian rhythms, and I'm going, okay, so where did you learn about that? And where's the proof that it changes when people are teenagers? I don't know. I've only got your say-so. When you say most schools start at 7:30, I'm going, well, I don't know. Is that in fact the case? What's the basis of that? There's no information that is being referred to suggest that that is the case. And what the average bedtime for people is and how it moves back a couple of hours, again, this seems like it's mostly an assertion on your part. It may be true, but I have no reason to believe that it's true based on data that you've provided. I've just got your say-so, and although you look like you've got an honest face, I think I need something a little bit more than that. The presentation, I think you do a good job speaking to us and explaining ideas. I like that, but the proof level and the, accepting the conclusions based on the grounds that you have, I think that is problematic. All right, thank you.